TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.
What's up, family? Welcome to another edition of Talk Show Kings. Oh, I'm not king at all. Hold on, D. Joe Biden? D. Joe Biden.
And the thing about what the CDC is saying now is that once these tests are allocated to the people that need the test, those numbers are going to skyrocket it.
We can do that. Hey, you can go to Egypt, but you better have your little black ass back on this porch. Hey, stay like that. Street light, come on, you ain't there.
If I give my woman 100% and she hurts me, see, I ain't got nothing to give nobody else because she's taking it all.
Hey, you guys. I am King Lundy, and you are tuned in to Talk Show Kings, one of the hottest shows in the South. And I'm him, that guy, the mouth of the South. You are tuned in on Facebook, on YouTube, and what else, gentlemen? We're on TV 1061
out here in Douglasville, Georgia.
Yep. Welcome to the show. We have an amazing show for you tonight, but before we get started, we're going to allow the Kings to introduce themselves, and we are starting on my man to my right.
Hey, man, listen, it's King Mel. Listen, I ain't going to lie. The leather got me spilling. Listen, the leather got me spilling. You know, I'm feeling a little extra spiffy today. But, you know, I'm not going to say too much. What I am going to do is say I'm glad to be in you guys' presence again, and I hope you guys give us plenty of feedback, plenty of questions and answers. We got them for you over here, and I got King Trevor over here. What's happening, man?
Peace and blessings to my family worldwide. Peace and blessings to you. Thank you so much for watching us. Peace and blessings, and special shout out to my brother Adrian down in Jacksonville, Florida. Keep your head up, bro. It's going to be all good. And I just want to say hello to everybody and thank y'all for watching us. We're going to talk about some things. And if you didn't know before, you're going to learn today.
Absolutely. You are going to learn tonight. Hey, listen. Tuesday is here.
Yes.
Super Tuesday.
Yep.
If you have not took advantage of early voting, which ended on Friday, I believe, then guess what? You got another opportunity, but you got one more opportunity, and that's Tuesday. The polls are open at 7 in the morning until 7 at night. So if you have not voted, I urge, the Kings urge you to go vote and make your vote count. This is one of the most, and I do mean most, important decisions of our lives because we get an opportunity to choose who we want as president. And we're going to jump right into it. We're going to speak with the Kings. We're going to ask them, how do they feel about the election? How do they feel about the choice that they made? And how do they feel about Tuesday getting here and Wednesday following after that, and we should have a new president. And I'm going to start with you, King Mel. It's here. Super Tuesday's here.
I mean, I don't want to mislead people. I haven't had a chance to vote. I do work 2 jobs. But definitely Tuesday I'll be out there voting.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, I voiced my opinion about the candidates that we have involved here. I am not, you know, a big supporter of either candidate, but what I will say is that we have to get what's in office out of office.
Okay.
You know, you have to get this guy, we have to get it out of office. You know what I mean?
Right.
The guy is divisive, narcissistic. He doesn't care. And if you can put up with 4 more years of this,
Right.
because I don't think I can. Just like the meme said, somebody said it was a meme that says, don't forget to set your clocks back an hour on the 1st of November, you know, because the daylight saving time is ending, right?
Right.
Somebody's, and the memes went on to say, I'm not setting my clock back not 1 hour. I refuse. I don't want to have an extra hour of 2020 at all in my life. I'm
Right.
done with it. I'm over it. So that's where I'm at with it.
Absolutely. And what about yourself, King Trevor?
Well,
The Super Tuesday is here.
it's here, you know, for me, it's kind of unbelievable. Like,
Right.
it seems surreal
Right.
that we're about to have a presidential election
Right.
after the year that we have had. It doesn't
Right.
seem like it's real. It seems
Yeah.
like a movie. You know, people are dealing with COVID. People are dealing with the bad economy and things like that. But at the same time, they have to go out and elect a new president on
Right.
Tuesday. Well, we hope a new president. I think it's interesting that already 100 million Americans
Yeah.
have already voted,
Right.
which I think it's a record. I don't think that there's ever been that many people who voted before
Right.
the actual election.
Right.
You know, I'll be honest, I have tried for these entire 4 years my best to stay neutral
Right.
and to let this president do his job to the best of his ability. I've tried to stand on the sidelines and watch
Right.
and think and observe and see if I could maybe come to my own conclusion without embedding myself deeply into either party. But the fact of the matter is, man, in the last couple of months, this year in particular,
Right.
COVID, and then
Everything's going
the
on, yeah,
protests
right.
and the riots and
Right.
the things that this president has said, and how he just seems like, exactly like you said, King Mel, the man has divided the country
It
in
has.
a way
Yeah.
that in my life I have never seen. So I have nothing personal against Donald Trump,
Right.
Yeah.
but for the sake of the country
Yeah.
and for the sake of keeping the country together, I would like to see Joe Biden and Kamala Harris elected president and vice president, just
Right.
so
And
we
I
can
can
at least have
completely
a
understand that.
new start.
Have
I
you
can
voted?
understand it.
You know what?
Do you plan
Again,
on voting?
again,
Okay.
I have never voted in my life.
Right.
This election, though, it's the most important one. So
A-
I'm gonna be out
absolutely.
there right behind my
Absolutely.
man,
Yeah.
right behind my man King Mel
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
I'm
to cast
up
my
early
vote.
because, you know.
Yeah.
But again, man, you know, this has been so divisive, and people have this thing where they're pandering and catering to this 2-party system,
Right.
and it's to a point now, man, where the 2-party system is played out. It's
broken.
It really is played out. It's broken.
Right.
You've had people on both sides, Republicans and Democrats, who have owned slaves, who have tortured people of color, who have mistreated women and everything. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm no longer for whether or not it's a conservative or a liberal. I'm completely past that.
Right.
What I want is somebody in there who's going to do what they say that they are going to do, and they are going to be for the people of this country.
Absolutely.
For the people who work hard, break their backs. There are some people who came here illegally who work harder than those who are here legally.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's just plain and simple.
And
So-
I agree with you wholeheartedly, but people, and you got to hear this, when you're getting your hair cut and you're in the barber shop, or women, when you're getting your hair done and you're in the beauty shop, or you're in the grocery store and you happen to talk politics, and you don't like this and you don't like that, well, Tuesday is time to make a change. And you, the voter, can make a change. You can make a change in your community. You can make a change in your lives. This change has to occur, but it's only going to occur on Super Tuesday. You have to get out and vote and make your vote count. We cannot put up with 4 more years of what we've been putting up with, where we have a president that has taken from us, that has put us down, that has called us names, that has let allow a virus to come in and just pretty much destroy lives.
Yeah, a president who will allow you to see naked pictures of his wife
Yeah.
on the internet before he allows you to see his tax returns.
Absolutely.
That's something completely
You know,
wrong with that. If a man will allow pictures of his wife
Mm-hmm.
to be posted across the internet without doing anything about it, and she's the first lady,
Right.
but will not allow you to see his tax returns, there's something significantly wrong with that.
Absolutely, yeah.
I just don't.
Go ahead, King Trevor.
You know, I wanted to say, I wanted to tag on something that King
Right.
Mel
Go ahead.
said earlier, where you said the government is no longer of the people, for the people, by the people. You
Right,
know,
absolutely.
Even though, of course, you know, we all have a vote. We can go and vote on Tuesday and make our voices be heard. The truth of the matter is, as important as the voting process is, the government is right now in the hands of corporations and lobbyists.
Right.
The fact is that
Facts.
the government is corrupt from the ground up.
Yeah.
And the good thing about these last 4 years, if there can be a good thing, the good thing about these last 4 years that Donald Trump and his presidency has brought into fruition is that it has engaged
Right.
people in the political process who
absolutely.
otherwise
Yeah.
would have been apathetic,
Yes.
paid no attention, ignored it. Oh, the president, it don't matter who the president is. Well, what has happened, though, is that his presidency has been so divisive that people have come into the process who otherwise
Right.
would never have been in the
Would have
process.
never been there.
So my belief is, sure, it's important to exercise your right to vote on the federal level, but what I think is more important, what I've always thought, is the local level.
Right.
The
local
grassroots political organization, activists in your
Right.
community. Everybody's mind in the last 4 years, at least in the black community, has turned on like, you know what, we got to be part of this process.
Yes.
Right.
I think what we need to do as black people in our communities is act and take part in and start and foster a grassroots program so that in the next election, as the years pass by,
Right.
we have voted at the local level because the federal laws that are made always follow the laws that the states make.
absolutely.
And the laws that the states make start in communities.
Right.
So I think that if we started to take part in politics on a community, grassroots level, we could change the country in 4
Man.
years.
And we are going to make change because with the new president at hand, a change is going to come. And if you'll look carefully into politics, and when this new president, when Biden is elected president,
Yeah.
you begin to watch the format of our government, like what King Trevor said, even on the local government,
Yeah.
how it's going to change because on a Democratic Party, once a Democratic president is elected, then guess what? The Democrats begin to start having an upper hand in the lobbyists as far as all the decisions that are made.
I do feel like, man, even though it plays out on television and on the social media that, you know, that the Republican and Democratic parties are divided and whatever, right?
Right.
I do believe that because money is involved, they kind of skip hand in hand. You know how you going with your friend and you holding hands,
Skipping.
and if there's a pole right there, you guys may go around different sides of the pole because
Yeah.
you don't want to break, the
Yeah.
wrist or something like that. So you
Yeah.
let go, then you grab hands on the other side.
Right.
That's how I think it's playing out right now.
Yeah.
I seen something, and no, we didn't discuss it. I didn't put it in our group chat we had.
Right.
But it was a town in Texas that's mostly Democratic, right? Did you know that the people there, the Republican people, were trying to get the judge to throw out 117,000 legal early votes? Legally voted early, and they want the government to throw out 117,000 of them.
Right.
Because it's a strong Democratic
Following.
county,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, then you look at politics, it's like, how can you even petition a judge to throw out 117,000 legal
Right.
early votes? Not illegal, but legal early votes. So, with that being said, man, this election is important,
Yeah.
but it's also important for people to have moral compasses on this side. If a judge does throw out these 117,000 votes, that pretty much shows you where he's leaning at. You know?
Wasn't Texas the state where a couple days ago there was, I think Biden and Kamala Harris were campaigning, and their bus pulled up on some highway in Texas and y'all didn't hear this?
I didn't
Oh
hear
my
it.
God, their
But
bus.
hold that thought,
Okay.
though, because we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to return with the politics that we are living in right now, and we're going to continue for Super Tuesday is almost here. You're tuned in to Talk Show Kings. We'll be right back.
How can you find a reliable source of CBD products? Introducing Holistic Wellness Boutique, a revolutionary collection of CBD tinctures, CBD topicals, CBD edibles, CBD pet products, and other relevant CBD products that help you incorporate CBD into your everyday lifestyle. The best part? Through our special Radiant Transformations program, Dr. Alea Daniel, PharmD, a well-regarded wellness coach, licensed pharmacist, and the mind behind the idea of Holistic Wellness Boutique, will also introduce you to a healthier lifestyle through proper education, nutrition, and a thorough medication evaluation to make the most of our exemplary CBD products. If you are struggling with a chronic condition, we can help you discover how to live a more holistic lifestyle through wellness coaching and the proper selection of hemp-derived CBD products. Visit holisticwellnessboutique.com to schedule a consultation or order an audacious combination of hemp-derived CBD products that will rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit.
Hey, welcome back to the show. We appreciate you coming back. But before we move further in the show, there's a couple of people that we want to give shouts out to who you don't see on a daily basis, but we know they're here, and because they are here, we're here in front of you. We want to give our executive producer, Mr. Felix Washington, a wonderful shout out. Also, we have a media director, Ms. Shantae Barksdale.
What
Shantae,
up,
thank you
Shantae?
so much. And also, we have a technical guy, Mr. Jason Pulley. Jason, thank you so much,
Yes,
wherever
sir.
you're listening.
Jason
And
does his
also,
thing.
we want to give a shout out to King Doc. Unfortunately, Doc has not made it to the show as of yet, but Doc, hang on in there, and I hope it works
Well,
out
we
for
got
you
you,
out
man.
there.
We holding
We
it down
got
for
you.
you.
We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir.
Now, getting back into the show,
Okay.
we were speaking with King Trevor, and King Trevor was sharing this with us.
So, like I said, I don't know the facts, but a
I
couple
had
days
to Google it.
days
yeah.
ago, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were about to
Right.
do a campaign rally in Texas. I believe it was in Texas.
Right.
And a bunch of Trump supporters pulled up, surrounded their bus, and forced the Biden and Harris campaign to cancel their
Because of security
appearance.
concerns. I seen it right here.
Now that's a gang.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
that ain't
yeah.
a gang, you tell me
Now-
it's a gang. Now hold on.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Now what you hear all the time from these conservatives is that the Democrats are crazy. The Democrats are
liberal this and
the
liberal
liberals
that.
are crazy. They
Right.
don't know how to behave themselves. They don't
Right.
have any control.
Exactly.
You know, they don't follow the law.
Yeah.
What do
Exactly.
you call a bunch of gang? Well, I don't want to say gang, but what do you call
Yeah.
a bunch of people from the opposing political party
Right.
surrounding your bus, not allowing you to do your
That's
campaign?
That sound like a
it's-
gang to me.
It
but-
sounds
gang
like,
to me.
and it's starting. Trump always does something when it gets towards the end of relation. Same thing he did last year with Hillary Clinton's tapes. You know, same thing he did with Biden's son. You know, brought him into the forefront. And I think that I think Trump knows that he's losing. So if he's losing, King Mel, then he's not going to stop at anything. From my understanding, Russia and China was trying to get back into the mess of things, you know, by threatening people who voted on the Democratic Party.
And that's the sad part. I'm telling you, the whole thing with this whole Donald Trump campaign and whatever. Listen, here's a guy who put tariffs on China, yet and still him and his daughter's clothing were made in China.
Right.
You're not really trying to put strict stipulations on China. That bothers your dollars.
Right,
He's
right.
not gonna allow that.
Absolutely.
You know, it's one of those things where, man, you trying to play both sides of the fence. It's almost like when I look back at it, when you think about Abraham Lincoln and the Emancipation Proclamation, right? And you said that slaves were free, right? And then you wrote this into the 13th Amendment, right? But then you turn around and said you were free unless you were convicted of a crime, and then you would be committed to be a ward of the state.
Property of the
right?
state.
You're property
Yeah.
of the state. And back then, who was going to fight for black people?
No one.
So all you had to do was say anything, and you're up the road for 20, 30, 40 year life. You know what I'm saying? Simple stuff. Looking at a white woman, oh, he hit me or he did this, he stole. That's all it took. Nobody was going to really be able to fight back then. And that's the same thing goes on right now. He has his hand in this, and he's playing his hand the way he's playing it because the people have done nothing about it. Those up that are higher, their palms are being greased, they're doing nothing about it. All it takes is just a little bit of money, and you can skate by with anything. And that's been their game for the longest.
Now, speaking on the local front, 2 weeks ago, Joe Biden was 8% in Georgia. Joe Biden was 8% ahead of Donald Trump. In the Facebook poll today, he's only 1%. And both of them have been campaigning in Georgia for the last 2 weeks nonstop. Do you think that Georgia will vote and give Donald Trump one of those electoral votes?
That's a tough one, huh?
Because Pennsylvania, he needs Pennsylvania, and he needs Florida.
Well, Georgia
needs Pennsylvania and needs Florida, but Georgia will help the cause, and he's been campaigning here. But guess what? Obama is speaking highly of Joe Biden here, and Obama is also backing Joe Ossoff, and he's also backing Pastor Warnock.
My belief, I mean, it's not really a belief. I guess it's a fact. Historically, Georgia is a red state.
Right.
It's historically a conservative
absolutely.
seat.
Same as Florida.
And I believe in the 2016 election, Georgia went to Donald Trump.
They did.
But, again, I myself am not, I try not to pledge allegiance to either political party, the Democrats or the Republicans.
Right.
I have to say that in terms of social reform, I lean left. In terms of finance, I lean right. That's my, political position. But I moved here. I moved to Georgia 4 years ago. And I can see that there have been a lot of people who have left the usual Democratic, strongholds like the North and places like LA and have moved out here. So I think that there is a great chance that Georgia could swing Democratic in this election. That's what I believe.
I don't, me and Doc
strongly believe they are.
Yeah, me and Doc were having a conversation while riding in the car. And we were talking about, the electoral collegiate process. And I said that I believe that the electoral collegiate process is one of those things that even if you lose, it helps you to win, right? By popular vote 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton had actually won by 3 million votes, at least 3 million, right? The electoral collegiate allows you to be the type of person that even if you win a football game by 27 points, you still lose. That's how it's set up. And Doc was saying that he didn't trust, a state to just not be without the electoral collegiate. But like I told him, you have, we're going to use this right. We're going to say the 4 most populated states as of right now, right? Run California, Texas, Florida, then New York, right? Florida has about 22 million people in it. And people don't, it's finding it hard to believe, but it is, I find it hard to believe that 22 million people would vote primarily Republican. Just like I find it with California having almost 40 million people would vote primarily Republican. You know what I mean?
Well, California, the population centers in California, we know, Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, Oakland. These are the 4 biggest cities in California. And those cities Oakland is predominantly black. That's going to go Democratic. Los Angeles is the Hollywood.
He knows that as well.
Los Angeles is the Hollywood community. That's going to go predominantly Democratic. So I think California is pretty much sewn up. Now, Florida is a different state. Florida has become extremely politically important just in the last couple of elections. And what you have in Florida is a great mix of people who have moved also down from the Northeast. But you also have a lot of people who have been down there for a while. And the older you get, the more conservative your values get. And people in Florida, it's a key state.
If he loses Florida, I pretty much, and just following the polls, if he loses Florida, the election probably is going to be over because he has to win Pennsylvania and he has to win Florida for him to win. Georgia is a
swing state, man.
Absolutely. But Pennsylvania and Florida
I
I
know people are conservative with their ways, but here's my thing with the whole conservative thing. With conservative people, you know, a lot of conservative people are a lot of holier than thou Christians. There are a lot of people who say, well, you know, a woman shouldn't have the right to an abortion, right? This is my thing. Do I believe in abortion? No, I don't. However, there are certain instances where I can understand why you would want that. You know what I'm saying? Being that you've been raped by a family member or raped by somebody and your innocence has been taken and now you're carrying this rapist child. You know what I'm saying? Not quite possibly wanting your child to have that particular DNA coursing through his bloodline because your child may not turn out that way, but your child's child may turn out that way. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. But to say that a person has no choice with their body, no, I don't. I'm not swinging full conservative on that. But I'm also not swinging full liberal either, where you can just run around here and have sex
in the bathroom
and have sex all you want to, and then just decide you're gonna offer life. You know? But at this point in time, right now, I do believe that this election is going to hinge upon, one, a lot of black people getting out to vote, and two, a lot of white people dealing with their issues as far as not just seeing skin color or whatever, and just saying, listen, morally, this guy is bad for the country. He is bad for our kids to look at. He's bad for us.
I think everybody that is participating, everybody that is voting in this election, they know for themselves that they had to get out and vote. It was a lady on the news. She started voting maybe 50 years ago. And they was asking her, why do you want to get out and vote? She said, because I got the right to vote. And every year she gets out and vote, and her vote is counted. But if you pay any attention over the last 4 years to politics, then you should know that this president who we have in office now is a telephone tough guy. And what I mean by telephone tough guy, he goes on Twitter, he goes on Facebook, he screams live, and he's a tough guy, you know.
Sorry.
You know,
a telephone tough guy.
That's a good one. You know what I'm worried about, though? I don't want to be worried about it, but you hear a lot of news reports and things that people on both sides, the conservatives, the liberals, the Republicans, the Democrats, that they're saying if their guy doesn't get elected, is going to be mayhem and chaos in the streets. Do you guys think that, I mean, do you think that there's actually going to be riots and protests?
It is so serious in California that Super Tuesday is Tuesday. They started boarding up. Businesses started boarding up their businesses just for Super Tuesday, because if the wrong candidate is chosen, it's going to be mayhem.
You know,
absolutely.
You hear people, you hear that, and I heard that what you were talking about, where people talking about it's going to be civil, it will be a civil war, and there's going to be civil unrest and things of that nature. I don't put it past them. The same way, if you have guys asking a judge to throw out 117,000 legal votes, right? There's no doubt in my mind that there's probably going to be a civil war. There's probably going to be civil unrest. However, like I told people, and we've said this before, we are not our ancestors. So for you to have this civil war or whatever it is that you feel like you're going to have, and you feel like you're going to come at people and just do people any kind of way, no. This is not the past. This is the present. And what will take place presently will not be what happened before. So I think that, you have people saying that, but then you also have a guy who's feeding into that. Again, that's his narcissism right there. He won't step up to the plate and say, hey, listen, if I lose, I lose. There needs to be no civil unrest. It's just, I lost. It is what it is.
Well, he's already saying, and he said this 2 months ago, that if he were to lose this election, that he would take it to the Supreme Court and make the post office somewhat responsible because the votes wasn't being counted, or they was going to be counted late and wasn't going to get there in proper time. But speaking of timing, we're going to take a short time out and we'll be right back. You are tuned in to one of the baddest shows in the South, Talk Show Kings. We'll be right back.
Today's world exposes our youth to life experiences that are well beyond that which their years should allow. Violence, trauma, poverty, injustice. Our children's lives and their livelihoods are in constant danger. Wisdom, Inc. is a community-based organization designed to save young lives by reducing violence and assisting youth in their personal development. Wisdom stands for wise individuals structuring and developing youthful minds. Through our collective wisdom, we can change lives for the better. Wisdom, Inc. Reducing violence, developing youth, saving lives.
Welcome to Burke's Jewelry. How may I help you?
We're looking for engagement rings.
We offer a wide selection. However, I believe we have just what you're looking for. Burke's Jeweler is your family's jeweler at 491 Flat Shoals Avenue Southeast, Atlanta, Georgia 30316 in East Atlanta Village.
What's up, family? Welcome to another edition of Talk Show Kings. Oh, I'm not king at all. Hold on, D. Joe Biden? D. Joe Biden.
And the thing about what the CDC is saying now is that once these tests are allocated to the people that need the test, those numbers are going to skyrocket it.
We can do that. Hey, you can go to Egypt, but you better have your little black ass back on this porch. Hey, street light come on, you ain't there.
If I give my woman 100% and she hurts me, see, I ain't got nothing to give nobody else because she's taking it all. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to a wonderful show. You are tuned in to Talk Show Kings. We are live. We are right here on TV 1069 in Douglasville, Georgia. We also have family that's on TV 1061, and we want to share a lot of these shows with you, brought here by our executive producer, Mr. Felix Washington, starting off on Wednesday. The Flavor at 8 p.m. After the Flavor, we got the Playlist. That's at 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday night. Thursday night, we have that show, you know the one, Bedroom Chronicles at 6 o'clock. And on Saturday, tune in to One Nation, not One Nation on the Groove, but One Nation. And on Sunday, you know who it is, the lovely ladies, those divas, Talk Show Divas, starting at 4:30. And last but not least, you know we're going to bring the noise, the mouth of the South, along with Doc, along with Trevor, along with King Mail. The Kings, Talk Show Kings, will be here. And like I said, TV 1061 here in Douglasville, Georgia.
Okay.
We're going to get back into the
Okay,
We're going to get back into the program. We got some comments.
Paul, before we get to the comments, real quick. Okay, so we just want to address this real quick. You missed it because you were telling. We went to say TV 1061 and King Trevor decided to go to Bedroom. Decided to go to Bedroom Chronicles in TV 1069. So I want y'all to understand this is TV 1061. But back to our regular scheduled program. Okay, so we were talking about the politics, right?
Right.
I think right now it's a good time to speak about the morality in politics.
Absolutely. Anybody comment before we get into
it? Yeah, we got Show Enough Hoberstrash says local politics means something. And then he also said the Panama Papers were swept under the rug. I'm not sure what the Panama Papers were, but I'm going to have to look into that. Misty James says vote, folks. All caps, and she means that. So get out and vote.
Get out and vote.
You know, listen, if this is your first time and you just get out and do it, man, it means something. At this particular moment, it's about more than just yourself. You know what I mean? Then we got Sure Enough Hope Stretch also says, no one is speaking on hazardous pay for people who are trying to help move the economy in a state of emergency. And then he also said lower emissions. You know, the thing about more money with, you know, to help move the economy and things, or the hazard pay or whatever, look, man, they don't want to come up off of the $1,200 more than twice this year.
Right.
They didn't want to, even out here in Georgia, the unemployment where you were supposed to, you know, get the money for the pandemic and everything.
Right.
People are still waiting on that, as well as they're still waiting on money that was promised to start back in September, the extra $300-400 with unemployment.
Absolutely.
And they still haven't did that. So, you know, talking about hazard pay right now, the only way we're seeing they're going to get hazard pay is to either A, swallow your pride and keep this clown in, which I think that's a bad idea.
Absolutely.
Or you're going to have to get out and vote and get this clown out.
Vote,
Yeah,
and the
you gotta get
hazard
him
pay
out.
that you're asking for, the stimulus money,
Move it in a different direction. The stimulus package. Yeah,
stimulus
move it in a
package,
different direction.
we are getting a new president, so the question and comments that you have, wait till after Tuesday, and then we'll see a change.
I'm hoping we'll see a change. But
Absolutely.
we're going to stay right now. We know that right now, what we have right now, this just won't cut it. And if it's cutting it for you, you're part of the problem.
Well, let me ask this question right here, and I'm going to start off with Trevor. The morality of politics. We all know that there's some good in politics, there are some bad in politics. Explain to the American people, in your own words, how do you feel and where is the morality in politics?
Well, my belief is that
Right.
I'd like to believe that people are naturally, at their core, good.
Good.
And I would like to believe that when a person decides to enter the political arena, which is where you are chosen to serve,
Right.
people enter it with good ideas, with their morals intact, and with a plan to, you know, serve their constituency, do
Right.
good things. The problem happens, in particular in American politics and in politics all over the world, the problem happens when people start reaching in their pockets and offering political candidates not thousands,
Right.
not hundreds of thousands, but millions of dollars
Right.
in order to write laws or support laws
Right.
that support them.
Absolutely. I can agree with you
what you
100%.
wind up with is a legalized system of corruption.
Right.
In America, our political system is corrupt from the flow up. It's
believe
toe
that.
up
Yeah.
from the flow up. Because the lobbyists, the people who go to these politicians and say, hey, Mr. Political candidate X,
Right.
can you please pass these laws? If you pass these laws, we'll give $1 million to your campaign.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
when you retire from office, you can come work for us.
Right.
So these political candidates have two incentives to write and pass laws
Right.
that do not support the majority of people, but
Right.
support these corporations.
Right. And that's bad morality. That
Oh,
man.
absolutely. What needs to happen
Yeah.
is there's a law on the books right now. It's been on the books for 5 years. It's
Right.
called the Anti-Corruption Act.
Okay.
And what this law does is it takes the system and shakes down the
Speak
people
on it,
who
brother. There you
takes
go.
the
Speak
system
on
and
it.
shakes down the
Right.
people who are offering these political candidates money and say,
Right.
and it says you can no longer offer this much money.
Right.
There's another law on the books right now that is putting a cap on how much money each individual or corporation
Right.
is allowed to give to these political candidates' campaigns. So what that
Absolutely.
does
Right.
is that it makes the playing
Right.
field level. So you, King Lundy, you have
Right.
as much voice as Exxon
absolutely.
or Walmart,
Right.
because you're giving this candidate $5 and Exxon is giving this candidate $5.
Yeah.
So this candidate
Yeah.
then has to dig deeper
You
back
know they
into
have a
himself to
limit.
serve.
You know they have a limit. Politicians have a limit of what campaign contributions they can take. For instance, our mayor, Mayor Bottoms, the ethics firm was looking into her, ethics commission was looking into her because she went over her limit of what she could take, and now she's she paid some of it back. But I didn't know that until watching the news. They have a limit. If you saw the movie, and I'm gonna speak about the morality in, if you ever saw the movie Forrest Gump, and Forrest Gump was running through the streets, but when he was coming up around 6 or 7, he had braces on his legs, like the polio braces. But when his mom took him to see the doctor made a comment and said, "Your legs are just as crooked as a politician." And ever since I heard that statement, I've always known politicians to be crooked.
Yeah.
So with that statement made, the morality in politics, it's been there for years.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been there for years, King Mel.
I don't think that, well, what King Trevor said was that people go in with good intentions. There are those who don't go in there with those good intentions because their families have been politicians. They come from a long line of politicians.
Right.
So they know what's going on. They know what they have to do. They know what they have to say. They've been groomed. This is what happens. I don't believe that there's morality in politics anymore, only financial gain. Either, you got to look at it this way. We know that being a president can't be an easy job, right? But let's just think about this. There are people who are going to get up and bust their behinds for the rest of their lives, well up into their 60s and 70s working, right? Trying to get Social Security benefits and everything to be substantial enough to be able to take care of them when they can no longer work, right? Along that same line, you have where people retire from being presidents and senators and things of that nature, and the president right now gets almost $500,000 for the rest of his life, and all he has to do is get up, cough, scratch his behind, and sneeze, and that's it. Every day for the rest of his life. That's all he has to do, and he's still going to get $500,000, right? Judges the same way, Congress, the Senate, whatever, it doesn't matter. My thing is, if you're not able to see the crookedness in that, you're paying somebody $500,000 to do nothing for the rest of their lives. They don't have to leave the comfort of their home. Yet and still, you have people out here fighting for $1,200 right now. Right? There is nothing morally correct about politicians at this point. Because if it were, they would be able to see, hey, man, we're out of work. These people are bad. It shouldn't just be $1,200 once since this. It should have been $1,200 at least once a month until this thing is over with. There should have been funding to try and get ahead of the curve. There should have been a lot of things in place. But unfortunately, like you said, there are lobbyists. You know how much S.E. Johnson wax and all of them have made off of this right here? People ordering that stuff online, Amazon. Jeff Bezos went from being worth $110 billion to $140 billion.
Exactly. The money and the power. The money and the power. The money and the power is what politicians are doing. And they've been doing, like I said earlier, they've been doing it for quite some time now. First they get the money, then they get the power. Or a lot of them, first they get the power, then they get the money.
And a lot of them come from money and power already. So they're just running it right. They're running you over.
So when we go out to vote on Tuesday, and you're thinking about it as you're looking at the monitor, and you're seeing the Democrats and you're seeing the Republicans, and you know that somewhere your vote is going to count because it's time for change. We need a change. The last 4 years has been, just 2020 alone has succumbed to this Trump era. How do we go from Obama to Donald Trump and look at us now? We're in no better shape, now than we were 15, 20 years ago. And we should progress every single year. Now we got a president that the world hates.
Well, again, I think one of the things that Joe Biden could do if he gets elected immediately upon taking office is take a look at this Anti-Corruption Act.
Right.
Because the fact of the matter is the American political system is broken, and it's because of the lobbying industry. It's because these people can come to the president or whoever's campaigning and say, hey,
Yes,
I
sir.
really want you to, you know, we really like you, what you stand for,
Right.
but, you know, we really like what you stand for more if you'll accept this $1 million and vote in favor of our industry or vote in favor of our, whatever the case may be.
Right.
So, you know, again, my opinion is we are at a point where, because so many people have become involved in the political process and people have learned in the last 4 years that their votes do matter and are listening a lot closer to all these candidates, what we can do now is take a look at the system itself and find out what we can do to fix the system from the ground up.
If you're Joe Biden, you just, and I'm gonna ask you the same question, you just got elected president, what would your first move in office be?
Wow, that's such a good question. Well, I am not a political candidate. You know, my focus in my life is my family, the people who are close to me that I can actually keep my eyes on and take care of every day. But again, I mean, I think a vote of confidence for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the entire American Republic would be what I just said. If Joe Biden came into office and started to speak on the internal dysfunction within the political system and the institution itself here in America, and decided to educate the Americans about this Anti-Corruption Act and started speaking on corruption in the system, man, I think that would change the nation, change the tenure of the nation, and both sides would have to pay attention. Because if you remember, Donald Trump took office saying, I'm going to drain the swamp. Now, I don't know, for me, 4 years ago, that sounded interesting. That sounded like something I wanted to pay attention to, which was why I gave this man the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely.
This man came into office saying, this system is corrupt. There are leeches in the White House. There are leeches in Congress. There are leeches throughout this government. I'm going to drain that. And I was all for that. What has happened, though, is this man has caused the country to rip apart.
Absolutely. We're going to come back to King Mel on that question. And you are tuned in to Talk Show Kings. We'll be right back.
All right.
Are you an artist, a writer of spoken word? Do you have content ready but need exposure? Get to know me. I'm Alicia, host of a new Facebook live stream show called The Flavor, where we promote local and international talent of all genres. Here are some rules and regulations to the videos that we'll be accepting. They must be radio ready, no cursing, no lewd language. You must send us contact information as well as a YouTube link to your video so we can extract it from there. Email us at 1061tv@gmail.com. And we thank you. Ready?
Hi, I'm Harry Lennox, and you're watching TV 1061, your global network.
Hi, I'm Michael Collier, funniest man on the planet, and you're watching TV 1061, your global network. Stay tuned, because that's how they do it over here. Big time party! All right, see y'all later. Bye. Hi, I'm Michael Collier, funniest man on the planet, and you're watching.
Welcome back to the show. Thank you so very much for tuning back in. You are tuned in to Talk Show Kings. Before we left, we just wanted to know, and I had posed the question to Trevor, but I'm going to pose the question to my man, King Mel. Mel, you are Joe Biden. You just got elected president. What's your first move?
Well, for me, if I am elected president, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get money to the American people. I'm going to get money to the American people simply because right now, what you're about to inherit as the incumbent president, man, listen, this economy is not where it's supposed to be. And like King Trevor said, the country's been ripped apart by this guy, you know. Not only just racially, but also financially. You know, you got a guy who wants to undo everything that a previous administration did. Now, do we agree with everything the previous administration did? Of course not. That's just, we're people. And you, like I said, you can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all the time. We understand that. But you have a guy who comes in and says that he's going to undo everything that's been done. So from healthcare on down to taking credit for you know, at one point the jobs being as low as they were. Mind you, you came in to office with the job administration like at unemployment rate at 4.7 or 4.9%. It's only dropped down to maybe like 3.8 to 3.7. You really had nowhere else to go. You know, now it's up there because of the whole pandemic thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is get money to the people. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to continuously get this money to the people. You know, it shouldn't be $1,200 every couple of months. Nobody can survive off of that. You know what I'm saying? It should be $1,200 a month for the people, right? That gives you $300 a week to actually be able to, you know, buy your food, whatever. You can suspend the cost of rent. $1,200 isn't going to cover rent, food, and everything else. You know what I mean? Do some things like that right there. Reach out and do for people morally what you know is right that you would want done for you and your family if you were on the other end. Secondly, I'm going to get this pandemic. I'm going to get my scientists, I'm going to get my team. We're going to work with other countries. We're going to see how we're going to handle this. We're going to combat it. We're going to do what we have to do. Then after that, and we've come up with the solution, then we're going to slowly but surely get the country back on track. After you get the country back on track, then you know what I'm saying? You can begin to open it up, get jobs back out there. You know what I'm saying? Keep these small businesses functioning. Keep those big businesses functioning. However, we're not bailing you out if you're $1 billion company.
Absolutely.
Why should we?
I would definitely put money into more black programs than what they're actually putting money into now. Trump says he's done more for black people than any president, including Obama. If I was Joe Biden and I went into office and I was elected, that's one of the major things that I would do is to pour money, not just put money, but pour money into black businesses. I would give the HBCUs more money, more attention, because they need it as well. And when people are in need of things, they should be able to get it. And you just got voted into office. And if you notice, a lot of politicians, they promise you this and they promise you that. But as soon as they get in office, you don't hear from them no more. You don't see them no more. But absolutely, kissing babies. But I voted for you and I believe in you. And you told me that. I truly believe that Joe Biden is going to be a president that's going to not save black people, but people of color are going to stand a better chance of moving up in life and getting things that we need.
I will say this. I come from a really small town before I ever moved to Miami, Florida, and everything. There was a mayor of the town named Gordon Sands. And Gordon Sands was this guy who I seen him come to my grandparents' house when it was time for him to get voted to be reelected. Didn't see you anytime after that. You know what I'm saying? Didn't see you before that. And I always felt like politicians who come around and kiss babies and everything else, right? You have time to go play golf, but you don't have time to go back and talk to the people who voted you in. You can spend that time saying, hey, you know, I'm not saying that you don't need a break here and there, but playing 100 games of golf a year, you don't need to have, there's no need for you to do that when you're dealing with politics of the country. You should be out here going to those small towns, going to those agricultural areas, going to those urban areas, those suburban areas, going to those inner city programs and places, and talking to the people, talking to the mayors and the governors and everything else, and asking, what can we do to work hand in hand to be able to create more revenue in this state, to be able to better utilize the land out here, to what about this, right? What about, you know, stopping just gentrification of neighborhoods and pouring money into those neighborhoods and building those places up. You know, it's stuff like that, man, that means a lot. But like you said, when you see them and you get these votes, you're out there hugging and kissing people's kids, never to be heard from again until it's another 4 years.
That's what they do, Trevor.
That is what they do.
And your final remarks?
Well, I mean, I'm going to tag on something you said a minute ago, King Lundy, where you said that, no, Joe Biden is not going to save black people. I think right now in the country, and excuse me if I contradict myself, but I think right now in the country, although it is a very good thing that so many people are taking part in the political process and their minds are waking up, I think at the same time, people are assuming that these politicians are like their parents, like they're gods.
Right,
People are
right.
looking towards these politicians to
Right.
save their lives, and I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Politicians are in there to do a job, but you have a job to do for yourself as well. You know, people, I think what I'd like to see, for example, we talked a couple weeks about these, I think it was 17 or 18 families that bought this 100 acres here in Georgia.
Right.
I would like to see more of that. I would like to see more of our people, again, people in general. Let me not, you know, keep it to our people.
But we say our
I mean American people.
Yeah.
I would like to see American people getting together and taking their power away from these politicians and showing them that we can do things on our own. We have our own initiatives. We have our own entrepreneurial ideas.
Absolutely.
And I can't point to a better example than these families,
Right.
these black families that bought these 92 acres
Right.
in, where was it?
It was down there south
Georgia.
of Macon.
Bought this land
Yeah.
in South Georgia
Right.
to start their own community,
Right,
to
absolutely.
take their destinies into their own hands and
Absolutely.
not pay too much
Yeah.
attention
And
to
do
what
you
these
not think-
politicians are doing.
And do you not think these 19 families that bought these 97 acres of land, do you not think that they have not, you know, factored in that there are going to be a lot of hoops and hurdles? There are going to be politicians who step in and try and, you know,
Run
their
things.
they're going to up the ante on what they, you know
yeah.
what I'm saying, on how they can get past this
Right,
and,
yeah.
you know, okay, well, the guy has to come out here and you have to have this in order, that in
Yeah,
order, this
right.
has to be right, that inspection has to be right, da 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 da. You know, they're gonna throw all types of hoops and hurdles, and I know they're more than willing to go
Absolutely.
through it. But
Yeah.
here's the thing: the fact that they are more than willing to go through it shows you that they're not backing down.
Yeah.
You're gonna throw every hoop and hurdle, and we're gonna fix any and everything you can come up with. And when you finally have nothing else to throw at us, we're gonna build what we started out to build.
And keep on building.
But
and
the fact
build
that
on
they
top of
started
building.
it,
Right.
that's what says a lot.
Absolutely.
You actually did it. So with this being said, you know, we're talking about these politicians. Man, listen, I could talk all day what I would do as a politician, you know, but the fact is they won't allow me to be one. My past life won't allow me to be one.
Yeah.
But, you know, man, you see a lot of stuff going on in these from local governments and the big government and everything else. You know, it's like when it's getting cold and the homeless people are about to be out here, right? It's gonna be cold. There are a lot of abandoned hotel buildings and everything else that just sit there and wait for somebody to buy them off there. You know what I mean? You could buy those off of those people and turn those into homeless shelters. Whole bottom floor is nothing but a resource center to help them get better, to find jobs, find homes, you know, repair credit, do anything and everything.
But
find
nobody's
work.
doing that, though.
And you know,
nobody's doing that.
Exactly.
I wanted to jump on something else you said, King Mel, and that is, you know, you mentioned the fact that your background disallows you from running for office.
Right.
But there's a lot of brothers and people out there who can run for office.
They can.
They have
won't run for
great
office.
ideas.
Absolutely.
They have extremely.
And if you brothers are listening to King Charles.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there are a lot of people out there who are magnanimous, man. They're thinking naturally about their community and what they can do for their people around them. Get into politics. Why not? I mean, you know, we got a lot of people in our community. They want to be rappers. They want to be entertainers. They want to be performers.
Right.
What that means is they can speak. What that means is they have ideas.
Absolutely.
Why not get into politics and put some of your energy and some of your intellect into the political arena?
And for instance, Killer Mike, he's a rapper, but he is so political inclined that he just got an award from the mayor 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
But he's a rapper.
But you know what's interesting, too?
Absolutely. So he's very spoken. Go ahead.
Like I was saying, you see a lot of people, for example, even though, you know, the black community is angry at Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, and Ice Cube for just speaking to Donald Trump.
Right.
My personal opinion is that if this man is the president, then this is the man we got to go to talk to. But the point is, these gentlemen, Ice Cube, Lil Wayne, and 50 Cent, their minds are turned on. They're interested in the system. They're interested in the institution of politics. And who knows? Maybe in 10 years.
That's right. You
I
never
will
know.
say this here. As far as Ice Cube is concerned, I'm okay with what he was talking about. But the thing with 50 Cent being that he's going to vote for Donald Trump because he doesn't agree with Joe Biden's tax plan because it's going to affect his money.
Affects his money. Yeah, that's crazy.
The dollar to him is more than his community. Lil Wayne went from the Lil Wayne we know to the guy who has 3 or 4 dreads in his head and his hair falling out in front, and all he dates is white women now. And I'm not saying that's a problem, but what I'm saying is The problem is you're not. You never wanted to speak about it then.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
I remember his raps. You were one way, now you're this way, and now all you see is through the color of money. You know what I mean?
And they've had the biggest platform known to man.
Exactly.
I mean, you got millions of people that are fans. You got people that have been to shows. You have been all over the radio, the TV. Your platform is huge. But now you just want to say something out.
My point is not necessarily what Ice Cube and Wayne and 50 are saying.
Right.
It's just the fact that these brothers open their minds enough
Yes,
to get involved in the political discourse that's going on, and that is going to have a trickle-down effect across the board, because these brothers don't just have black fans. Trust and believe. The largest faction of these brothers' fans are white suburban kids in suburban America. That's who's spending money on their music. So again, my point isn't necessarily what Wayne said or what Wayne didn't say. It's the fact that these young brothers with this huge platform, like you just said, are opening other brothers' minds to the idea of getting involved in politics. And I'm going to reiterate it once again. Run for office. Why not? Run for office in your local community. Run for one of them seats in your community and find out what the process is.
I would tell you why I would not want to see 50 Cent run for office. And I'm going to be honest with you. I watch the shenanigans that he does to other people on Facebook, especially people his own
50
people.
is petty.
on Instagram, where you trolling people, calling people. You nitpick and you act just like Donald Trump.
That's petty.
What you're petty.
Right.
You're very, very petty.
Absolutely.
And that's not what we need in office. That's not what we need as a representation of our community. That's not what we need as a representation of how a black man carries himself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right now, can I jump in a little bit? Right now, in some community here in America, there is some 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old little black boy who's thinking, what do I want to grow up to be?
Right, absolutely.
And he has a limited palette of things that we as black people have forced on him. Well, little brother, you can be a rapper, you can be a sports player, you can be a drug dealer. That's about it.
Right.
What I'm saying is, these rappers, 50 and Cube and these dudes, what these dudes have done is open these little brothers' minds to the idea that they might be able to become president and a politician one day. And that we as black people in our community, I think we should start looking closer at politics as a potential place to join and be a part of.
But now let me ask you this. What do you think when you look at the ballot and you see a name on there that says Kanye West?
Well, me personally, I mean, first let me speak on Kanye. I like Kanye's music. I'm not real sure what Kanye's political ideas are. I know he's running for president.
Right.
But that's less my point. Kanye West, I don't think, is a serious candidate for president. However, man, in 8 years, in 12 years, we might have a legitimate potential presidential candidate who is or was a rapper. That's my point.
That's what I was thinking about when I was trying to follow. When I was following you on that, is that anybody can sit back on the sideline. Oh, I wish this, and oh man, I hope this. But on Tuesday, Super Tuesday, you can change the world. You can make it happen. Your vote, don't sit home and think, well, I'll do it in 4 years. I don't feel like it. And you got that mindset of, well, you know, I don't care who wins. Don't just think about yourself. Think about your community. Think about your church. Think about your children, your grandchildren. Think about who is going to be affected by your vote. Your vote, see, when I voted, my vote is going to affect a lot of people. When King Trevor, if he decides to vote, his vote is going to affect a lot of people. When Mel go Tuesday, King Mel go Tuesday to vote, his vote is going to affect a lot of people, but we all got to live here in this United States of America. So my last word to you all, to our fans, to our family, to our listeners, go and vote. And we're going to let King Trevor say his final words, then we're going to move over to King Mel
and we're going to bid you a good night.
Well, my final words are along the lines of, I think people in America need to take back their mind and take back their attention.
Yes, sir.
From what I can see, we worship 4 gods here in America. Those gods are politics, entertainment, consumerism, and social media. These things occupy a space in our brain 24 hours a day. As soon as you wake up, you're on your phone. What messages did you get? You Instagramming. I think people should take back their brains, go outside, take a walk, meditate, take a deep breath, listen to some classical music, open your mind to some things that you might not otherwise think about on a regular basis, and you never know. You might have some new ideas.
Absolutely.
Well, listen,
Female.
I'm just saying, listen, I hope you guys do get out and vote. Right now, this is very important as far as the direction of the country. This is going to affect our children, and this could affect our children's children, and it can affect your parents and grandparents if they're still here and whatnot. So yeah, definitely get out and vote. It's probably not more important than it has been ever in the history of this country. Because 4 more years of this, and if you think the country is divided now, 4 more years of this, it'll be a complete fault line.
You're right.
You know, so if you don't get out and vote, man, if you don't think your vote counts worth anything, if you don't feel like you have any power, then you're already considering yourself to be powerless when you have the power, and all it takes is just going in there and saying, this person or that. Do I want to live 4 years of this or 4 more years of that?
Absolutely. And King Mel couldn't have said it more powerful than he just said it. But we are Talk Show Kings. We are here live every Sunday at 6:30 on TV 1061 in Douglasville, Georgia. My 1061 family, we urge you to go vote, but continue to watch and support TV 1061 because we need your support. If you'll look on the screen, we'll have a Cash App, and you can send us money through that Cash App, and we'll be gladly appreciative of it. You'll also be blessed in whatever you do because you are a blessing to us. So if you feel the urge in your heart to support this broadcast, to support this show, then please Cash App us, whatever you can. We'll love it and we'll accept it. We also want you to tune in on Wednesdays from 8 o'clock p.m. We got the show The Flavor. Tune in. Also at 9:30, we got the playlist. We love to have you here. And Thursday, don't forget, 6 o'clock, those Bedroom Chronicles. Love you to be here on TV 1069. And we're going also TV 1061. We're also Saturday, One Nation at 2 o'clock p.m. And don't forget on Sunday, those awesome ladies, the divas themselves. We're talking about Talk Show Divas at 4:30 p.m. And last but not least, the mouth of the South, King Mel, King Trevor, King Lundy, King Doc, represented by no other than Felix Washington. Also Shante Barksdale, and our main man, Jason Pulley. We're talking about Talk Show Kings. I was your host for tonight. I want to give a shout out to my mother, Miss Geneva London. I love you so much, and I know that God is watching over you well. But to the lady of my life who completes me and make me happy and does everything that a husband needs her to do, that's Natalie Dennis Lundy. I love you so much. And we thank the fans, King Trevor.
Just want to shout out my brother once again. Peace and blessings. Shout out to my brother Adrian. Brother, keep your head up. It's going to be all good. Shout out to my family all around the world. Shout out to my children in Japan, my little girl, Naya. She's not a little girl anymore. And just shout out to all you people watching us. We really appreciate it. Peace and blessings to all of you guys. And thank you so much for being with us.
Absolutely.
And me, I just want to give a shout out to each and every one of you. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. We wouldn't be here without you, so we thank you for each and every view. Just want to give a shout out to the Kings, King Lundy, King Trevor, King Doc. You know, thank you guys for hosting as always, man. And unfortunately, King Doc couldn't be here, but man, yo, Doc, you here with us in spirit.
What's up?
Shout out to my kids, you know what I'm saying? Maya, Taj, Serenity, man, I love you guys. And like I said, always, you know, Daddy's doing this here, and it's gonna pay off. Trust me. And last but not least, hey, to my favorite people, black people, y'all get out and vote.
Absolutely.
On Super Tuesday, man.
Well, that's our show.
Peace.
We'll see you next time. You were tuned in
Bam.
to Talk Show Kings. Peace. We out.
Yes.
What's up, family? Welcome to another edition of Talk Show Kings. Oh, I'm not king at all.
Hold on, D. Joe Biden?
D. Joe Biden.
And the thing about what the CDC is saying now is that once these tests are allocated to the people that need the test, those numbers are going to skyrocket it.
We can do that. Hey, you can go to Egypt, but you better have your little black ass back on this porch. And stay like that. Street light come on, you ain't there.
If I give my woman 100% and she hurts me, see, I ain't got nothing to give nobody else because she's taking it all.
TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.